Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for your patience. My name is Joshua Fekes Quest. I am here with Returned for our first game of the day, first League of Legends game of the day between Michigan Tech University and Lourdes University. Both have a little bit on the line here. As we said, this is week 5. Said this yesterday, of course. Said this all week, all season, really. Swiss tournament, which means somebody's going to be out today. Returned.
Yeah, both these teams are coming into week number 5 with that 3-1 record. That means that one loss here and you are out. Teemo Cup for you. And for both of these teams, they have their sights set on those playoffs. And even if you win today, there's still a pretty long road ahead, but you got to start somewhere. Today's match is going to mean quite a bit for these teams.
Yeah, excuse me. Yes, it is. And we're actually about to get into it since it is late. We are about to get into the draft. But yeah, these games are extremely important. Neither of these teams want to go to the Teemo Cup. Yeah, obviously real money better than the Riot points. That is for sure. As we get into draft, Lourdes, they had a rough week last week. Suffered their first defeat by Columbia College. Hayami was sitting at the top of the KDA charts. Now not there anymore. Columbia College knocked them off. Michigan Tech, they're looking to really establish their name here as taking on one of the big dogs in the league. So this is outside of the actual win-loss record. It's a big match for both of them. Redemption for one and wanting to prove themselves for another team here.
Exactly, and Lourdes came into the season with a lot of hype. I don't know if it's a new team, but it's a new scholarship team led by Chilling Walk. They brought in a good selection of talent coming on up, and they're looking to take it all the way to the house, make it to the national championship. Did suffer that really hard defeat from the hands of Columbia College, Drake Porter's evil empire itself. And other than that, though, that's probably the only shakiness I've seen all season. So I'm curious to see how they're going to be able to rebound from that, because it's not always how you deal with wins that defines you as a team. It's how you deal with the losses, what you can learn, and how quickly can you bounce back.
Yeah, very much so. And this is, again, week 5. They're still week 6. So if Lourdes does win this one, they have to win next week as well. And that is the same, of course, with Michigan Tech University. As like I said, both of them are sitting at a 1-loss record so far. So we're getting to the bans. Zoe and Camille taken away from All Arrow, and looks like I'm not All Arrow. Oh, sorry, that was Zoe taken away from All Arrow. Camille taken away from Chemo. I don't know why I thought Camille was going to be a mid laner there, but either way, Orin also banned out by Michigan Tech University. There's going to be Nar, Bazaya, and Jana being banned out by Lourdes University. So they are focusing on the bot side of Michigan Tech here.
Yeah, and the big thing that strikes out to me is the Gangplank is still on the board. Other first picks, like the J4, the Galio, all are also available. I would expect Lourdes to be picking up the Gangplank just based off of how priority he is on that top side. So curious to see if that one actually goes over. But Galio already in the mid lane does signal that this Michigan Tech squad will be looking to make some of those plays, and a J4 pick or ban could be coming from Lourdes.
Yeah, we saw. I believe Michigan Tech was casted or broadcasted, I think week 1 or week 2, and I believe Nautilus Bot did play a Galio, pretty mean Galio as well. That was one of the games they did win, so very familiar with that champion. We're going to see what Lourdes sides pick up. Decides to pick up that Corki, then seeing a big resurgence of Corki as well in the mid lane. We saw them from Columbia College yesterday, and no reason to change that one. As far as the meta goes, Corki is still very powerful. Sejuani, a very standard champion in the mid lane, and the jungle for Hayami as well. And he wants to get that KDA record back, and someone like Sejuani would help him get that big tanky jungler, keeps him from dying, and also assist his team quite heavily as well.
Yeah, most certainly, and it's one of those picks that has been not only Hyami's, but a lot of junglers here just go-to pick. It gives you the tank stats, you can still clear fairly well, and you're still competitive in the early to mid-game area. J4 is going to be passed over. That will be the Zac, so definitely something that can still combo on top of Nautilus Bot with the Galio, but it's a little bit harder. But big point for me is the Gangplank falling out of priority here. Also, Azir being completely passed over. Corki has just been the counter to Galio. You can play a safe lane while still scaling up to a pretty solid 2-item spike. And I'm wondering if both teams are avoiding the Gangplank because of the potential for the Riven counter. This is something we've seen a lot over towards the LCK, but not too much here as of late, and already with the Nar banned out as well, just really knocking down these very high priority champions in top lane.
Yeah, and the cards shown in the mid and the jungle so far and as well as a bot side for Michigan Tech University. So we're going to see what all arrow picks, and that is going to be a Thresh to pick up the support for Artemis over on the side of Lourdes University. And this may be where we see a Gangplank ban, or possibly even a Ribbon ban, to get a Gangplank over onto the side of Lourdes. But we do see Tom Kinch being banned out. We're going to see what Michigan Tech decides to ban here. So yeah, this is interesting. So top lane is still up for both of them. Mid lane actually has been picked. ADC, I'm sorry, ADC for Lourdes still up to be picked. Unless they flex Corki down there, I doubt that. But if you want to get down to the nitty gritty, he technically can be a flex, but it's more than likely a Corki in the mid lane. But we do see a Cho'Gath banned out as well. Last bans, we'll see what they pick up here.
Yeah, and first thing that sticks out to me is the Varus still available on the board. It's probably still the top tier pick, I'd have to say, in the ADC role. You get that nice 2-item spike, and it carries you out pretty well throughout the match. You have to be careful for sure with the Tristana in lane around level 2 to 5, where she really just does outpower you, but scaling on out, you just have an earlier power spike. Going alongside that, though, they also have the Callista on the board. I know she's been falling pretty hard in the ADC priority, but when you have the Thresh in the lane, you do have the potential just to turn that into a hard kill lane, and Homecoming and Artemis, they could just look to run away with the match.
Right.
Let's see what they decide here. As Caitlyn is taken away, Homecoming is going to be picking up their first pick over onto the side of Lourdes for the second round. And like you said, the Gangplank is available, but so is the Ribbon. They were not touched during bans, so we're going to see what is picked up for Lourdes. They still have their top lane and their ADC to pick up. They actually lock in a Maokai, which does add to that front line tankiness for Lourdes University.
And this almost just exacerbates how good the Varus pick would be here, because they already have the mid laner focusing on that 2-item spike. You pick up Varus too, also with that 2-item spike, and by the time you hit that 25-minute mark, when once again 2 items are coming online, you have this very traditional team fight with 3 great engage methods, 2 great DPS ADCs basically in that fight. A little bit disconcerting that they chose the Thresh over something like a Lulu, like a Nami, like a Janna. Obviously, Janna being banned away here, but something that's going to be able to buff up and just facilitate those fights more. But apparently they're putting a lot more emphasis on Artemis being able to go out and make plays, maybe influence the mid lane matchup slightly, but they do have to be careful, because especially if that gets locked in, there is so much map pressure from this Michigan Tech squad.
Yeah, and that is going to have a heavy reliance on Kunzi as well, because that'll Tristana will be the main damage carry for Michigan Tech University. Galio does do some damage, of course, but you're looking for a huge engage with Galio, Zach, and couple that on with Shin, with Lulu in the back defending Tristana, Kunzi's Tristana. So there's a lot of pressure on Kunzi to position properly and rely also his team to just kind of set up these plays for him and keep at that big front line. But we do have an Ezreal locked in over for Homecoming.
Okay, so definitely a lot safer of a pick, noticing the Zac, the Galio, the Shen, and definitely a big downfall with Varus is he is very immobile. Like, you have great forms of engage, you have good damage, but if you get locked down in that fight, you are not going anywhere if you do not have that flash. And the Ezreal plus Thresh lane is going to be fairly safe, just given the fact that Thresh can land out Ezreal. Ezreal has the shift on his E, so he's able to jump out of these bad situations, but this is going to lead to quite a few interesting side lane matchups, as Shen still should have the split push advantage onto Maokai. Definitely depends on if Maokai picks up the minion dematerializer as well, as something we have been seeing coming out of top laners as of late. But the Galio 2 is another pick that we've really seen either hit or miss. Sometimes we've seen it just one-shot backliners as a whole. Sometimes we see it fall by the wayside. And it's going to be up to Nautilus Bot and Melting Cloth from this Michigan Tech squad to actually get something rolling.
Yeah, the Michigan Tech squad, they have, like you said, a huge advantage on the map presence, or just all over the map. They can, they can do 2 different ways of split pushing with Galio and with Shin. So that's actually a very scary team comp if they're able to do what they want with it. Now, on the other side of that, of course, Corki, Ezreal, actually, given how much dive is on the side of Michigan Tech, I actually really do like those 2 pickups because of how safe they are, like you said. So this is going to be a relatively interesting matchup, I believe. A lot of front line for both teams, a lot of mobility for Lourdes University.
Exactly, and in this early game, there are quite a few options available for Lourdes to actually get this game going. You have the threat of a Maokai TP dive on bot side. You have Corki, who has the package, can roam around, and still has some good playmaking between both the support and jungle duo of Sejuani plus Thresh. But when you get to that mid game, Lourdes have locked themselves into a very linear style. They want to get to a team fight, they want to fight you, and then they want to just take stuff afterwards, where Michigan Tech has a little bit more flexibility with what they want to do, but that just means if we hit that mid game and we still have even teams or maybe 2K advantage one way or another, if you get into a straight on 5v5, Lourdes should be walking away with the W there.
Yeah, and remember, this is week number 5. Both teams are at a one-loss record. Both teams have to pull out their best right now, or else they could be out of this tournament. One more loss. I mean, today somebody is going to be out of the tournament and into the Timo Cup. Which, again, yay Timo Cup, but that's not what you want as a team going for a scholarship prize, going for the actual money prize. So, yeah, both teams definitely need to pull out their best here, and these team comps are these are some serious business. I actually really enjoy. I'm really excited for both of the team fights to come out. But we're getting down to a minute. I actually want to give a shout out real quick to our social medias, our sponsors, things like that. You can actually type !Discord in the chat to pull up the Discord link, join our Discord community, have some input, just be a voice within CSL. And you can also do that on Twitter at twitter.com/CStarLeague and twitter.com/CSLLOL if you just want specifically collegiate League of Legends updates. Facebook.com/CStarLeague and go there and join our Facebook. And also, if you want to look at something that you might have missed, we do have our VODs on our YouTube, youtube.com/user/CStarLeague. We have shows, we have matches, not just, of course, League of Legends. So if you're interested in anything else like StarCraft, CSGO, any of those games that I don't play, you can go over there, watch them. And also, again, shows, Ward Up, The Quad, things like that are on there. I also want to give a shout out to Twitch. You're watching us on Twitch right now. And they've been with us from the very beginning. We probably wouldn't be here without them. So we really appreciate their partnership with us and really look forward to the future with them as well. You can also go follow them on Twitter at twitter.com/Twitch and facebook.com/Twitch as we count down here. We are actually done with the spectator delay. Good timing, Josh. That was actually really nice. And we are getting into the loading screen. How do you think this is going to start out? This is going to be really interesting.
Yeah, a big thing for me has to be Michigan Tech playing around those level 6 points, because that's where their strongest advantage is before Tristana gets to the 3-item spike. So needs probably IE needs the double zeal items just to get on going, and once she's there, she's going to be absolutely massive, having the Lulu on her backside, having the triple tanks, one even with the dedicated shielding for him in the Shen as well. So Lourdes are going to have this window at the very beginning of the game where they can try to play the map, get those macro plays out of the way, but I mean, once you hit that 6 mark, you have a Shen, you have a Galio, there's just too many things to consider for these big plays, so Lourdes want to open something up earlier, and if they can protect Hiami's jungle, if they can protect his vision, make sure he's not being tracked in these first few levels, he's going to have a big impact.
Very much so. And interesting to see Sejuani, the Hayami actually, is taking Fleet of Footwork over Unsealed Spellbook, which has been a lot of very popular in the meta right now. I know Fleet of Footwork on Sejuani, that was a pretty big thing when the runes first got remade. Still going to keep with it, does keep him alive a little bit longer. Of course, he does get that heal, a little bit of faster movement speed as well. So maybe just wanting to rely on that as we see a line of scrimmage being drawn. Everyone's just being a human ward. First Q lands, Homecoming with that Q. So he's 1 for 1 right now, 100% Q rate. That's actually a good way to start the match.
Yeah, most certainly. And the Fleet Footwork on Sejuani is very meta as of late. So the big thing is when you get on those ganks, the additional movement speed you get from Fleet Footwork helps you complete out your passive, helps you get that lockdown stun, and just helps out with the ganks overall. So not only does he give him a little bit of extra sustain, but he's also going to be feeling a lot better on those ganks and such. Big thing though, speaking of runes, we only have the 2 mini dematerializers, one of which going over Nal's spot in the mid lane, not too shocking, wants to keep up with wave clear against something like All Arrows Corki, which, I mean, it has Phosphorus Bomb, it's going to be very hard to actually keep pace with his clear. But also on to Homecoming. I believe this guy's basically been taking the mini dematerializers on every single ADC he's actually played. Just very highly prioritizes having some amount of lane control on that bottom part of the map, but the big one that reaches out to me is Chemo did not take it on the top lane, so once Ace to Wanda has the Tiamat, has the pushing advantage, Chemo could be put fairly far behind.
Yeah, and of course you are going against the Shin, so he is going to automatically have the lane pressure. And something you may want to think about is taking that minion dematerializer to push the wave a little bit more. But we have a level 2 advantage on the bot side. Artemis and Homecoming going up, moving forward, knows they have the advantage. Trying to possibly get a pick there, but not going to happen. That's very nice awareness by Kunzi, Demacia OP to back up, see if they could be in trouble. They're still level 1. They're going to be level 2 in just a moment. There's a big wave right in front of them. There it is. So they don't have anything to worry about now as far as that goes, as long as they can dodge those hooks. But they're going to see minion dematerializers come into play pretty soon. Already see them come into play into the mid lane as Nautilus Bot is using it to just keep up with all arrow. Even CS in the mid lane. Nothing too exciting happening now. Junglers are shadowing each other. We see Hayami maybe going into the jungle of Melting Cloth. Possibly.
Yeah, he's gonna look to trade a little bit back and forth. This will reveal his location, but mid lane.
Yeah, all arrow does not need to be all inning here. He actually gets taunted up and gets quite a bit chunked on him. He has fleet of footwork, so he is going to be able to sustain himself just a little bit, but he is completely out of mana now. Cannot clear those waves as fast as Nautilus Bot, especially considering he has those minion dematerializers now.
And Galio in the mid lane is very deceptive when it comes to the damage you can output. One good combination, all of a sudden you are put so far behind. And that's why you have to play someone pretty safe against him, like the Corki, who can just make it through the laning phase, still be fine going on forward. Because if that's into something like the Azir, if that's into something like the even LeBlanc early levels, if you lock them down, they are no longer alive.
That is very correct. And yeah, the all arrow actually, he got a big boost of mana right whenever I said that. So I don't know if he took mana flow band or if that was a glitch on my UI or the heads up display. Not really sure, but either way, I was paying attention to that. At the time that I said it, it was 0 mana, but
Melting Cloth.
Melting Cloth, he is in the bot side. I don't think there's vision on him. He could actually sneak into this brush, but he's not going to. Oh yeah, he is. He's not going to go back. There's a ward right next to the tri-brush that actually may be spotting him out right now. So he's Homecoming and Artemis may be safe right here, and I think Melting Cloth, they have an idea of that, and they're going to just go back now. Or Melting Cloth is going to go back now. Nice taunt onto all arrow, getting some chunk onto him as well. So Nautilus Bot showing that he can bully with Galio in the mid lane.
Yeah, without a doubt. And during all that time, Hyam actually got some pretty good vision game down onto the top side jungle for Melting Cloth. So he's starting to reach that point where Melting Cloth wants to, on the Zac, hit that level 4, hit that level 5, and get more and more points into Elastic Slingshot. That just increases his ganking range. And once that happens, once again, keep your eyes on the mid lane, because that lane could swing around very easily. And if you want to break open this map, provide time for Tristana, get Nautilus Spot ahead.
Tristana is actually losing quite a bit of farm. Kunzi and Demacia, they have been pressured very heavily by Homecoming and Artemis, doing a very good job keeping that underneath their turret, so the turret does take some of the minions. It gets a little bit difficult sometimes farming underneath the turret with the passive of Tristana, considering you get the extra damage on the other minions whenever you kill one with the explosive. So it is proving to be a little bit difficult. They're trying to freeze it, or at least keep it in the around the mid part of the lane, but look how fast Homecoming and Artemis are pushing. They are pressuring Kunzi and Demacia so hard. Yeah, and that's actually fairly shocking to see. Oh, wait, not enough time. All arrow, he's going to be in a little bit of trouble, but he actually staying very safe. Hayami, he's in the presence here as well, loose in the area. Not going to clear that ward. Actually just going to try to go into establish more vision in the enemy jungle. It's interesting, didn't clear the ward. Actually, I think it was almost down anyway, so just going to leave that one. But viewed as a may, failed gank in the mid lane, no summoners blown by all arrows, so he's going to stay safe. Nautilus Bot going to go back, he has teleport, and he'll be back in just a moment as well. Also level 6, so let's keep that in mind. It's level 6 time for Michigan Tech. Yeah, and you got level 6 on Nautilus Bot, you have level 6 on Ace. Oh, Arrow, he actually does get the slingshot put onto him this time around. Nautilus Bot, get in with the Q this time. First blood going over to Michigan Tech. Yeah, no mid laner yet, no problem for Melting Cloth. He's going to be able to assist in that kill, giving over first blood gold to Nautilus Bot, and that could just be the first sign of things to come, because this level 6 Wombo combo full map pressure squad is online. Also being said, Ace DeWoot Wanda has the team completed in the top lane as well. So once again, with no many demon healers for Chemo, that's going to be very hard for him to actually keep
ace to 1 to under control. Normally when you want to try to cancel out either the Galio roaming or the Shen roaming, you want to keep them pushed under tower. All arrow.
All arrow doesn't have any summoners, and they know this. They're going straight onto him once again.
Oh!
I don't really
Melting!
know that one. That was not a good mechanical play on that one, but they're still going to pick up all arrow more than likely here. Who's going to get the kill? All arrow just has a sliver of health. That was the Nautilus bot getting a flash just to secure that kill with an auto attack. Odd chemistry there, but effective. Got the kill nonetheless.
Yeah, that was a huge misplay actually for the side of Michigan Tech. The fact that they had to blow the flash on Nautilus boss is really influential, because in that lane you hold pressure over the flashless Corki because the threat you have with the flash taunt, and without that flash available, Corki's going to be alright to actually farm out this lane. Sure, he's not doing very well at all. 0-2 and 0, down 10 CS in that lane, but all things considered, that play could have gone a lot better for the Michigan Tech squad.
No, for sure. They definitely don't want to blow that much just for one kill next time. That is for sure. Now, with that being said, Dark Seal is on the side of Nautilus bot, so he is stacking that up. He has 4 stacks on it right now. Maybe looking for a pretty big offensive Galio, at least anything to keep his mana sustained in that mid lane. But he is a May. Regardless, it's still a kill, but yeah, you don't want to blow flash to get all that.
What is happening on this bottom side of the map? Homecoming and Artemis have a 15 CS lead in a lane they should without a doubt lose. Tristana plus Lu, there are very few more aggressive bottom lanes that you could go for it. Here comes Yami.
Chemo, he's in trouble, but Yami is going to back him up. There is a stun. There's the kill. Chemo picking that one up with Twisted Advance.
Yeah, good bait in there from Chemo and movement from Yami. Able to pick up at least something back on this top side, but once again, it's only going to be getting Chemo a little bit further ahead in that gold game. Just get him a few more tank stats and get ready for that big impactful play. But ooh, great hook.
Nice death sentence onto Kunzi. There's a two-shot barrage, but Kunzi is going to hop out. Has the wild growth on him, so he's going to be safe. Demacia OP may not be safe. Does have flash and exhaust, but he does not want to use all that. Artemis, he's going to play him back. Does he have the hook up? He actually back is there. The hook is back up, I should say, and that did force a flash out of Demacia OP. So very nice play by Homecoming and Artemis. No kill, but at least got a summoner.
Yeah, but now they have to be careful of that counter gank. They've been basically just given a free lane down here, but it's not going to stay that way. If we have anything to hear from Melting Pot, great flay away from Artemis.
Artemis with a nice flashy play there onto Homecoming, or not Homecoming, Melting Cloth, I should say. He's going to go for it again, though, knowing that
it's up again.
The play is on cooldown, but going to try to get Artemis back in here. Artemis has his flash. He's going to stay safe. Melting Cloth's trying very hard for this one, but overall just going to waste his time.
Such a defensive lane down here from Michigan Tech. There is no reason why you cannot jump in on that. You have no HP on Homecoming, very little HP on Artemis. At least get them to blow something in. This could be something that really hurts Michigan Tech going on forward if they draft the aggressive bot lane early levels and are unable to convert on it. So, a bit of a head scratcher for me right now, but at least they've still got the mid lane going for them pretty well, and they are without a doubt not even close out of this game.
Yeah, Nautilus body's coming back with a Rod of Ages, so he's stacking himself up in the mid game pretty heavily. He can just go right in onto all arrow with no fear. Absolutely chunk him. He's already down almost 3/4 of his health, so he has to be very careful. Hayami not been being too aggressive under these ganks, but on the bot side, heal forced out, and the True Shot Barrage going to pick up Nabasi OP. Nice death sentence onto Kunzi. Flashes the Glacial Prison. Homecoming, he's going to go in. He has a tower dive under there. He's actually going to take a tower shot, but Kunzi going to stay alive in the end. Great
hook coming out from Artemis and just great coordination. Fortunately, they weren't able to lock down Kunzi. Didn't land the last hook. Didn't land the last bit of poke coming out from Homecoming, but when you're already losing the mid lane this heavily, you need absolutely every other lane to start picking up the slack. And so far, Chemo's got it going on top lane with a little bit of help from Miyami. Bot lane, Artemis and Homecoming, they just have this lane on lock. Already completed the first item, tier item, plus they're looking at the Triforce next, and they're still on track to hit a pretty good 2-item spike here.
Yeah, and that is the advantage of having the Ezreal and the Corki. Just get that Triforce, get that mid-game power spike, and you have a pretty powerful, 2 powerful ADCs now, so that's going to be very interesting how they play it. But Nautilus bot, he's doing very well, and with the help of Melting Cloth, no surprise, but El Arrow is going to be privy to this gank.
Ooh, here's Artemis.
Yeah, Artemis is coming up. Nautilus bot, he has his flash, so let's keep that in mind. Artemis is just here to assist right now. We see Homecoming 2v1 in the bot side. You can do that as an Ezreal, stay safe. So Artemis just going to make his presence felt in the mid lane, then go right back to bot lane.
Yeah, unfortunately with how mid lane's shaping up right now, still no item completed onto all arrow. I don't care how many threat strokes you land, you still are not going to out-damage the Galio plus the Zac combination there. So good assistance coming out from the support, but it's more of a rescue safety mission rather than anything else. But kind of taking a step back and looking at the game as a whole, there's some pretty impressive CS numbers coming out from the Lourdes University squad. Top lane should be losing most likely, has that 13-14 CS advantage up there. Jungle, Hyami's been out jungling 98-72. Mid lane, at least is losing gracefully. And then bot lane, the 21 CS differential plus the Muramana completed plus the additional kill. And this is just a great early game coming out from the Lourdes squad.
Yeah, they're staying very safe, like you said. Hold on, do we have maybe a gank in the bot side? Hyami, it's not going to be. Yeah, not happening. Staying very safe. All arrow. Yeah, he has died twice, but yeah, like you said, gracefully, he's still even though he's died twice, he's actually pretty close in CS. Only 2 difference right now, so very nicely played by Lourdes as far as this laning phase goes in regards to farming. You see Melting Cloth. He's in the bot side. Not going to be making anything happening. There is too much vision control on the bot side from Artemis and Homecoming. One of the advantages of pushing up is you can do that. But we do see the Dragon being started by All Arrow and Hyami, so that is going to be the first objective going over to Lourdes University in the form of the Drake.
Yeah, and that's just the spoils of war you get when you have such an aggressive bot laner. Just a lane that can consistently win out, you just get control of that Dragon Pit. And unless the Nautilus bot and Melting Pot and Ace to Wando do, we're able to actually make one of these big combination plays beforehand, it's just going to go over to Lourdes squad nearly every single time. And this is really where you got to start wondering when the full map rotation, the full map mobility plays are going to start coming out. We're 14 minutes into this one. First item completed nearly for most of the big carries on the Lourdes squad, and that timer is certainly ticking because, yeah, it's not a bad game so far coming out from Kunzi. He's still deathless at 110 farm at 14 minutes, rather. But he's still going to take quite a bit of time to hit that big 3-4 items mark on Tristana, and you need something that's going to carry you on over through, because we've seen from this Lourdes team, if they're up against a squad that's not named Columbia College, they're pretty comfortable putting these games away at that 25, at that 30-minute mark.
And we are going to be only 10 minutes away from that 25-minute mark, and everything so far is, it's not, it's only 4 kills in this game so far. It's a very slow kill game. Only 1 objective taken so far. Very slow objective game, but maybe that is something that Lourdes is quite comfortable with. Like you said, they can play into this 25 to 30-minute mark once they hit their power spikes. Triforce completed on All Arrow now as well, so he does have that working in his advantage whenever they want to go into these team fights. Nautilus spot taking up the blue buff over from Melting Cloth, and maybe looking for another gank in the. Well, not with a slingshot being used, but I was going to say All Arrow is pushed up, maybe looking for another gank, but all Melting Cloth decided to use a slingshot. He's going to go over to the enemy jungle, establish some vision, just try to track where Hyami is going to go.
And so far at the 10 to 12 minute mark, this has been a better job coming up from the Lourdes squad, and especially Artemis and Hyami, to actually get the tracking game onto Melting Cloth. But here could be that flank play. TP's available from Chemo. Melting Cloth, he's on Herald.
He is on Herald, but Kunzi and Demacia, they are staying so safe. They decided not to just not give up kills. They're going to give up their turret instead. And that is the first turret going over to Lourdes University. Nautilus spot, he's going to shove into the mid lane, but All Arrow is back. Big packages himself in there, clears the wave. And that is going to stay safe now too. But yeah, Rift Herald is going to go over to Michigan Tech. May equate to a turret, but regardless, first turret still going over to Lourdes University.
Yeah, I can't really emphasize how much I'm actually fairly impressed with the Michigan Tech squad with that last play. A lot of teams in this sort of area will double down on trying to defend one of those towers, but it was really good discipline coming up from Michigan Tech to understand that they had absolutely no way of defending that bot tower, back off and just trade for objectives across the map. And when you're looking for something like the scaling game coming out of Tristana, when you really have the protect the Tristana composition almost, it's really good foresight, and it's good to help you actually get that scaling, but you can only trade for so long. And still, if there's not a global map play on this Michigan squad before that 25-minute mark, there's nothing really to stop Lourdes, because those constant ganks, those constant kills on Arrow have stopped. he has wised up. He is receiving more assistance from his team to at least hold that lane down, and these individual lanes aren't actually generating any advantages.
Yeah, that is interesting considering the comp that Michigan Tech has brought. They have not taken advantage of their comp, their ultimate synergy whatsoever, besides one time in the mid lane that was actually kind of a mismanaged ultimate combination from Nautilus Bot and Melting Cloth. You have Ace to Wanda. If you need a dive in the bot side, you can do it. Along with Nautilus Bot, you can do it. You have protection. You're not quite using that yet, and that is interesting. They may perhaps be waiting for the team fights to really get going here. But so far, I'm actually, again, 4 kills, I should say, at 18 minutes. I'm actually very surprised at that right now.
Yeah, and without a doubt, you should be surprised. I'm surprised as well.
Yeah.
Already rotations coming on out. First tower went down on the bottom side. Oh, all arrow.
All arrow got the flash, but it's still going to it's not going to be enough, I should say. It gets brought back in with the less bounce. Meanwhile, on the top side, there's a gank onto Kunzi. Kunzi does go down, and there is a lot more damage onto Demacia OP, I should say. Now they're going to focus on the turret. So mid lane, all arrow goes down, but top lane, Kunzi and Demacia OP goes down. Rift Herald popped in the mid lane, so they're at least going to get 1 turret out of this. But I think...
But the Lourdes squad, they're not stopping. I don't know what this TP is actually going to accomplish.
I don't believe it's going to... Yeah, I definitely don't think it's going to accomplish anything. Melting Cloth may be able to pick up the mid lane turret as well. This is a very odd macro management, I should say, from Michigan Tech University, but that is 2...
What just happened?
Yeah, 2 turrets in the top lane taken by Lourdes, unanswered. Or no, not uncontested, I should say.
And the TP's gone from Nautilus Bot. He completed that channel on through. Sure, he has the ultimate, but like you don't have any assistance coming through. Sure, you are fed on the Nautilus, and we've seen him pop off before, but you're not quite versus 3 fed members on the side of Lourdes fed to actually roll over that play. And this is the dichotomy of those teams. Michigan Tech, they're looking for those one-off plays. They're looking just to put the advantage onto one member. Whereas Lourdes, they're looking for the holistic play. They're wanting to knock down these towers. They want to solidify themselves in this advantageous spot. And sure, that may come with All Arrow being the sacrificial lamb at the end of the day. But at the end of the day, they're the one that's going to hit that spike first. And they're playing to their advantage. 2 items completed now on to Homecoming. Merman is still backing up before it turns into that man immune. So, still holding on for now, but Lourdes, they're not that far off of those big spikes, and that 25-minute estimate we put out earlier might have been just a little bit too conservative, because these guys are making it work.
Yeah, when they're allowed to get 2 turrets in the lane for free, that is essentially, yeah, they're going to accelerate themselves quite a bit. A huge chunk coming out of Demacia OP's life bar just from 1 Mystic shot from Ezreal Homecoming, so it's something to keep in mind. His early game got nerfed, but once he hit that level 5 Mystic shot, it's about the same. But hold on, we do have Artemis being taken over the wall with the less bounce. Is he going to go down? He is. Ace to Wanda picking up that kill. Here comes the heroic entrance.
Top lane though, All Arrow's still pushing.
Yeah, All Arrow is pushing all by himself. If they can keep the backs from happening here, they actually may be able to get an inhibitor here. Hayami is going to go down. They're going to get a life over for this one. Kunzi, he is going to be able to pick up that kill. Meanwhile, there has been a teleport used by Ace to Wanda, so he's going to go stop the push from All Arrow. Now this needs to be a disengage from Lourdes, and it looks like they successfully did that.
Yeah,
and able to solo him here.
Ooh, I'm not a huge fan of the last few plays coming out of Lourdes right there. They've already committed to splitting their pressure. They had All Arrow up on the top side as they were engaging that play onto Melting Cloth. But as far behind as the Michigan Tech squad is right now, you still have to give them credit. You have to know that they're still up and able to fight, but Chemo.
Yeah, Chemo, and he's going to go in hard on that one. Homecoming dishes out a lot of damage. There's a cell division. Can they pick this one up? They have to get it, though. There's the big package coming out from All Arrow. He's joined the fight. Used the teleport to get in. That was a kill going over to Homecoming. No Melting Cloth on the side of Michigan Tech now, and that is going to be a mid lane turret going down. But Ice to Wand is there now. Nice taunt, but is it going to be enough? The turret still stands. You got to take the turret down. There it is. All Arrow able to pick up that turret kill finally. But now life bars are disintegrating on the side of Michigan Tech. They need to back off now.
And this is what happens when you give over this large of a lead. The majority of the advantage for the Michigan Tech squad is, of course, in their combination plays. And when you put that off for so long, it doesn't amount to the 6-7K gold lead you've given over towards the Lourdes squad. And things are looking pretty dire right now for Michigan Tech. Game 1, it felt like they picked this competition where they wanted to play aggressively. They wanted to have the advantage in the bot lane, in the rotational game, but they never got the job done. And there's still the light at the end of the tunnel. You're still scaling on Kunzi, and with how big Nala's bot is, it is not out of the question that he just finds one pick, kills two members outright, and just turns this game around. But that's becoming more and more unlikely by the moment, and big 2-item spikes coming out here for every single member of the squad of Lourdes, and it's really their game to lose at the moment.
Yeah, very much so. And I thought Nautilus bot was just going to be a more tanky AP champion Nautilus in the mid, or not Nautilus, Galio in the mid lane, but he's actually trying. Looks like he's trying to go for almost full AP. He does have the Zhonya's and the Ninja Tabai, but that is still quite a bit of AP damage. So given a little bit of reprieve for Kunzi if he does fall, and a little bit more of a damage outlet, but still, Lourdes, they're playing these team fights very well, and more importantly, they're playing the macro very well. 4 turrets to 1 right now, and they have the first Drake of the game. The next one is up at the moment, and that is going to be taken by them as well. So they're establishing themselves. If this game does go late, they will have an advantage with the Elder Drake possibly. But hold on, heroic charge had to be used. El Arrow, I think he's able to duel Nautilus bot by himself now.
Well, yeah, that is the 2-item spike coming out through. He has the static shift, has the Triforce completed, but there was also Artemis on the backside of the play, and Nosbot saw that. He wanted to get the heck out of dodge on that play, but still, every time they use one of these abilities, that's not going to be up for the next 30 seconds, and that's time that Lourdes can use to establish vision, establish control, and that's insanely important when Baron is almost on the board.
Yeah, very much so. All Arrow, yeah, you said 2-item spike. What is Melting Cloth doing? He's too far in, but there is the team comp coming in because Man United is going to be thrown on to Melting Cloth. Glacial Prison not hitting anybody. Artemis stays alive, though. Going to CC up Ace to Wanda with the play and the Death Sentence. Meanwhile, Melting Cloth goes down on the backside. That is still 3 for 1 right now in favor of Lourdes. They are destroying Michigan Tech. That was a double kill for Chemo onto Ace to Wanda as well. And there's a complete ace. That was only Artemis being lost by Lourdes.
And that was just great playing around the ultimate timers. Like I just said before, Lourdes were confident playing up in that jungle because they knew there was no Stand United. Well, there was no heroic entrance for Nautilus bot, and with that, they are able to win out the fights. They have so much of a lead that the only way Michigan Tech can actually take one of these fights is if they perfectly hit every single ability. And when the main ability, when the biggest guy on the board is not able to jump into that fight, you're not going to be doing too well, and that's just great timing from the Lourdes squad, and a bit of disrespect for Michigan Tech, and that is going to cost them not only the top tower, not only the Baron, but also now a 10k gold deficit. And Kunzi is only on 2 items. He's not ready to take over this game just yet, and it's still on the playmaking, off the backs of Nautilus bot, off of the backs of Melting Cloth, and it's just not there yet.
No, not at all. He is falling way behind. He's still being out-farmed, but he's also had 2 deaths. Homecoming, he's 4-0-4. For how pressuring they were, they didn't get that many kills on the bot side. All these kills have come from mostly just team fights. So Homecoming is positioning himself so well. All Arrow now got himself 2 kills along with 4 assists. And Artemis, they're going after Artemis once again. He just played away the slingshot. There is a true shot barrage coming down. Kunzi did pick up Artemis. That is a nice pick, but what else can they get? Can they pick up anything? Because All Arrow, he is still split pushing. They need to answer that pretty soon. Ace to Wanda, he has teleport, but still, there's an open inhibitor in the top side.
Yeah, I'm not sure so much as they caught out, or they went after Artemis is the right way to phrase that. It was more like Artemis kind of offered himself up to them, walking directly into the bush. A bit of a misplay there from Artemis, but it's still going to be good pressure from Lourdes. 10k up with the Baron buff, with split pushers. There's just not enough for the squad. Oh, the flashes!
Yeah, Homecoming may finally go down here. Heroic entrance rather, is finally going to knock him up, get some damage onto him, and that is going to be a kill. A shutdown going over to Melting Cloth. Hayami now going to be dueling Melting Cloth himself. But there's so much fighting over on this inhibitor. The inhibitor turret the inhibitor was picked up.
Oh.
Can Demacio OP go down? No. That is All Arrow did not get that last auto attack on the Demacio OP. So it is All Arrow going to go down, but so much pressure being put onto that top side inhibitor. That means that Chemo may just
TPs are available.
TPs are available.
Ace
split pushing, and that is a what? No.
Scumbag Shen refuses to save the jungler, keeps the TP up and send, and that's just not what you want to see right there.
Yeah.
Very unlucky if you are a jungler for the Michigan Tech squad right now, but hopefully they're going to be able to patch that one up as this game does go on forward. That was all arrow going down on that play, but he was able also to pick up that inhibitor, and that's just more and more pressure that this Lord squad can keep playing through. Baron buff will be falling onto the wayside within the next few minutes here, but they have so much pressure, they have so much gold, they have so much damage. Things are still looking pretty bleak for this Michigan Tech squad, and all it could take is one more phenomenal player, one misstep for Michigan Tech. To actually just push this one away and bring on game 2.
Yeah, you said earlier that they Lourdes likes to pop off around the 25 to 30 minute mark, and they accelerated that, like you said earlier, with some of those mid-game power spikes, and they actually popped off around the 23-minute mark, and they've been just crashing into Michigan Tech the entire time since. We're approaching the 30-minute mark pretty soon at 27:45 right now, but it is looking bleak for Michigan Tech as they are missing their top lane inhibitor. Chemo does not have much to push on that bot side. I believe he still has Baron empowered minions on his side as well. He does, and he's gonna go and push down that bot lane turret. Also, maybe trying to look for a fight. This is a fight that Michigan Tech do not want, but they do have all their ultimates up. If they can make their team comp work the way they want, they could turn around ever so slightly for them.
Yeah, I'm not very sure why they've actually sent all arrow up, not all arrows on the wrong team, but Nautilus bot up to the top lane. Would more expect the Ace to Wanda to be the one on the split push here, but here comes the engage, and that's not the team that wants it.
Yeah, that's on the Ace to Wanda. He can take quite a bit of damage, and Ultimate Cloth, he doesn't want to launch himself into that one. He's going to cancel the slingshot and just think better of his time here as we see more pushing coming into the mid side. Super minions pushing onto the top side. That means Nautilus bot has to go answer those. He still has heroic entrance and teleport, so he has plenty of tools to get him into a team fight if they need to. But man, this global team fight presence, this global team fight comp, not quite working out the way Michigan Tech wants it to. Nice flay. Artemis has been on point with these flays onto these slingshots from Melting Claw.
Yeah, honestly, he's been doing a pretty good job, and I assume that definitely influenced the picking up Thresh, but yeah, this man's just been on fire, landing some pretty key hooks. But Yami, he's going to find Kunzi.
Yeah, more like... And there he is. It looks like Kunzi was trying to find Hayami, but no, it was definitely the other way around once Kunzi realized he was not touching that health bar whatsoever with his... He's got still 2 items. 2.5 items still on Kunzi, so he's not looking too good right now.
He definitely could be looking a lot better, but now for these next few minutes, Lourdes is going to be pretty gun-ho on just pulling out some of those key abilities from the squad of Michigan Tech. They could look for a dive here. They could just look for the straight-up fight, but it'd be incredibly risky because if they misposition one thing, they can succumb to the wombo combo abilities for the Michigan Tech squad. But like we've seen before, if they get the Galio ultimate out of the way, if they can pull away Stand United from Ace, if they could kill off Kunzi, the team fighting for Michigan Tech just completely falls apart, and that's why you're seeing them be so hesitant here within these last few minutes. And if that doesn't work, go to plan B, as stands for Baron, which is up in the next minute and 30. So won't be shocked to see a lot more vision control going around that area as well, and maybe even just turn this top side of the jungle into just a death bush, a death area. Look to get someone out.
Yeah, they are establishing vision control on the side of Lourdes right now. I bet Chemo, honestly, Chemo may be able to duel Nautilus bot as well. Nautilus bot, he has built his Hextech Proto Belt, so again, he's going pretty hard into the AP. But that doesn't really leave much for him to protect anybody. Once the heroic charges into somebody, or into a team fight, it usually means he's going to die, but he will dish out a little bit of damage here. You can see there's so much. Look at that. Chemo's not even intimidated. He's actually just going to flash the emote right in his face. He does have a Spear Visage, so he does have a lot of protection against Nautilus bot's onslaught as a Nautilus, as a Galio. I keep calling him Nautilus because obviously he's Nautilus bot, but he's playing Galio, and I don't think anybody on the side of Lourdes fears him right now.
Yeah, no one really does. Lourdes is feeling pretty confident. Big thing though is that these last, I'd say 5 to 7 minutes have been pretty uneventful for Lourdes, and they're the one playing with the advantage. The inhibitors come back up, and they haven't really gotten anything from it. And now, if this Baron comes and goes without like 2 inhibitors falling, without the game going over, Michigan Tech, they are still scaling. We have 3 items finally completed on Kunzi, so he's ready to be a pretty big impact on these fights. Surely wants a little bit of armor. Pen 2. You have 3 big tanks, Chemo, Hayami, and all.
Oh my god.
Oh wait. That's a flash away, but the Baron!
What's happening? The Baron is being snuck. This is just, they can 2-man Baron, and that's the point that Lourdes is at right now. They can play away a slingshot and then two-man Baron. That's exactly what just happened.
How was written up on the play?
He did it again. Artemis has been so on point with this. There's Wild Growth on the Melting Cloth. Is that who you really wanted on? There is a nice Glacial Prison onto the backline, but still, Demacia OP going down, and that's from the backlines. Homecoming is actually on the backlines here, just sniping people with his Qs, and this is something that Michigan Tech cannot deal with. Chemo's in the mix now as well. He's going to try to root down somebody. There's a big amount of damage coming out from Nautilus Bot, but he is not tanky. He can't survive that. If you can't burst, you can't lift or anything else, you're going to go down. So he is good. That's exactly what happened. He's going to go down, and that is 2-0 in favor of Lourdes University. They have Baron and powered minions. They're going looking to the bot lane to push.
And that was probably the best fight Michigan Tech could have taken all game long. That was such a split-up competition. All Arrow wasn't even close to that fight when it started. Same thing with Chemo, but they just couldn't get the job done. And this very quickly could be the end of the game. They're going to make one more last-ditch attempt, though.
Yeah, there's less bounce. Artemis is finally going to go down after not playing back a slingshot for the first time in his entire life. There's Cell Division as who's going to pick up that kill. It's a double kill for All Arrow. He is going into the backlines. He's looking for a triple kill. He gets a triple kill. He's looking for a quadra now. But there's a flash is going to save Demacia OP, deny the quadra. But it does not deny the base of Michigan Tech to go over to Lourdes.
Nautilus Bot is up. He could look to stage a defense, but this is a 2v4.
This is a big 2v4. This is not going to look pretty for Nautilus Bot as they're just ignoring him. And there it is. Now All Arrow going in onto him as well as Homecoming. He's making his way up. He's going to go down. All Arrow picking up that kill. 7-4-4 started out in the lane. 0-3-3. And now Lourdes picking up the Nexus for the first win of the set.
Yeah, fairly well played from the Lourdes squad. Definitely a lot of areas to improve on. A lot of misplays going on back and forth, but you're right. That will be game number one. Going in favor for Lourdes University. Picking up the win over Michigan Tech and putting themselves one mark closer to that final showdown to make it into those conference championships. Conference playoffs. Conference championships are a bit further down the road, but got to get there first.
Yeah, they got to go to the playoffs, and they are one step closer to playoffs, like you said on yourself there. So 33 minutes, 56 seconds, how long it took for them to take down the Nexus of Michigan Tech in game number one. Of course, this is a best of three, and everything's on the line right now for Michigan Tech. They cannot lose this game. If they lose this game, they are out of the tournament and into the Timo Cup, and that's not where you want to be. But it is a nice consolation prize. We'll see what happens once we get back into game number two. My name is Joshua Fekes Quest. I am here with Return. Stick around. We'll be back in just a moment.
Once again. Once again. again.
Hey man, what's wrong with you?